Here's Brody Brazil.
I don't think there's any question that the last couple years have really taken their toll on citizens across the United States. Everything from the pandemic to politics to finances, now inflation to a great degree, and even a war overseas that doesn't directly involve us, but definitely stresses everybody out. It's not a surprise to me that a new survey of households in America showed nearly 1 out of every 3 adults reported having symptoms of anxiety or depression this summer. 1 out of 3 this summer in our country with symptoms of anxiety or depression. That's a lot. That's recent. That's current. That is an instant snapshot of where we are right now. The article here is from NBC Bay Area. The headline goes, "Adults recommended to get mental health screenings as anxiety and depression are on the rise." And it's really not a surprise, right? To me, I live in this world. You do too. I see it on an everyday basis. People who are just not caring or compassionate, or they're always angry and aggressive. It hasn't always been like this. And also, this is not normal. We shouldn't just pass it off as being, well, it's how things are right now. We need to do something about it. With depression and anxiety on the rise after the pandemic, the United States Task Force is now recommending most adults to get screened for a check for mental health problems. This is aimed at adults under 65, and likely the screenings would take place when people visit their primary care doctor. All of this comes after some eyebrow-raising results of a new survey of households in America that showed nearly 1 out of every 3 adults reported having symptoms of anxiety or depression this summer. Now efforts are underway to make sure people get the help they need. For the first time ever, the so-called U.S. Preventative Services Task Force is recommending screening for adults to check for signs of anxiety disorders. The Chief Director of Mental Health and Addiction Services at El Camino Health in Mountain View here in the Bay Area supports the move. Increasing screening efforts in the United States, I think, is a good thing, said Dr. Kalpana Nathan. There are lots of people that may not even recognize that's what they're suffering from, and asking questions about it will bring that to light. She said that in the Bay Area, the streets of COVID, feeling of isolation from working from home, and a sense of uncertainty, probably about the future, have prompted more people to report mental health issues, a trend that is seen nationwide. We've seen increased reports of distress, increased reports of stress, increased reports of individuals feeling overwhelmed, said Dr. Lynn Bufka of the American Psychological Association. The challenge is, what do we do about that? By screening, it increases the possibility that individuals will get referred to appropriate resources. The screenings, she said, may include asking people to answer a handful of questions, including how often people feel nervous or on edge. The screening is not a diagnosis, but Dr. Bufka said it may go a long way towards spotting at-risk patients so they can get the help they need. Right now, these are draft recommendations open to public comment until October 17th. Then the task force will issue its final guidance. Again, I'm here understanding the situation and what we've been through. And I think so many of us were raised and have grown into the mentality of, well, just tough it out, hang through this, get through it, you'll be fine. And that might be true. But I've also just seen so many triggers for people that set them off way sooner than they should. And that should give you an idea of where we're already at. The baseline is already incredibly high with stress and anxiety, fear, depression, all of the above. So what I'm saying is, it's a good thing we're looking at this seriously, because 1 in 3 this summer, I mean, between you and me, here's 2 adults. It's either one of us or somebody else. That is a very high and significant number that, unfortunately, I think is pretty accurate.